Coal, cars, cash and trees. Coal, cars, cash and trees.
Got the message yet? Those are the four big demands from the UK government of other countries at the COP26 climate conference. Basically, end the use of coal, switch to electric vehicles and plant more trees. But what does the cash element mean?
I'm always hopeful.
Back in 2009, rich countries promised to transfer $100 billion a year in finance to developing countries by 2020 to help them transition away from fossil fuels. This is cash for things like wind turbines, making heavy industry more energy efficient and sustainable public transport. But by 2019, flows had only hit $80 billion a year. It's now clear the 2020 target of $100 billion will not be attained, and the talk is of reaching it only by 2023. But notwithstanding the money delivery delay, there are concerns about the cash element of this commitment. For one, is it anything like enough?
100 billion is extremely important. It is certainly important to build the trust between developed and developing countries and showcase, that actually there is a commitment of real action and support. But at the same time, it is the starting point of really getting us to where we need to go. So we know we need trillions in order to, go towards a more sustainable future. But we need to start building on the 100 billion and go from there and really kind of find ways on how we can basically scale up the investments.
Now, the cash bargain between richer states and poorer states on climate change is actually pretty straightforward, both morally and economically. Rich countries put most of those emissions into the atmosphere. Poorer countries, in return for not adding to them, commitments which could place an obstacle on their most rapid path to prosperity, receive large amounts of financial support to decarbonise. But as so often in multilateral deals, the detail of delivery matters just as much as the overarching principle. Another much less scrutinised problem on climate finance flows is whether the cash will actually get to where it's needed. The World Bank estimates that 7.5% of foreign aid to aid-dependent countries is captured by corrupt elites. And the U4 Anti-Corruption Resource Centre has noted that all the top 10 recipients of climate-related development finance in 2017 scored below the global average in tackling corruption, with Bangladesh, Brazil, Mexico and Uganda scoring particularly badly in the 29 Corruption Perceptions Index.
I believe that at least 20% of the money is being lost as we speak. Some undue influence, for example, of some actors to delay transition or to block that climate finance. So that can be one sort of it. Another sort is money being embezzled along the way, or having a corrupt politician trying to give a contract to, his brother or his wife. So that's something that we are seeing, unfortunately, also happening again and again.
Experts say the solution is not for rich states to halt climate finance money flows, but to step up monitoring and auditing, and also, crucially, to involve local civil society groups in the design of projects.
When an investment is made, when a climate policy is being designed or climate finance being used for a specific project, how come that we don't include communities on the ground and, for example, indigenous peoples, because that's also a very clear solution to counter corruption. If people are parts of the project, part of its design, but also parts of the monitoring of it throughout the project, then you have very less chances of corruption.
Tomorrow is Finance Day at COP26, but it's not just the size of the checks that matter and which the world should be scrutinising, but how it's used.